Welcome back to the videogames.lu podcast. My name is Alexei, and I am joined here by two of my co-podcasters, I must say. Please introduce yourselves.
Um, so I'm gonna start. So I'm Rod, Alexei's brother. I'm the TO of vglu, and the other one is
Yeah, the boy is Fufura. New to the scene, but already inside of it.
New? We can't consider you a newcomer anymore, right?
Yeah. I guess new. I cannot say that anymore. No.
no.
No, we got other new members right now, but yeah, I
Cherry
mean,
has been popped.
I'm the
Yes.
boomer now.
oh, we're slowly becoming boomer. That's for sure. But yeah, so after somewhat of a long hiatus with the podcast, we are finally back. Um, to quickly explain the hiatus, we were busy with our online gaming cafe event, especially for the fighting game uh,
Division.
part. Yes, we were focused on Fighting Corner Trials, which you can find the video on the channel. So we kind of thought to ourselves we would take a little break from podcasting to focus on the event. And but the events are coming, the podcasts are coming, and the events too. But so look forward to retro topics and other fighting game topics for future podcasts. And of course, as we're already talking about the online gaming cafes are also returning monthly. So this month we will have one as well, a bit of a special one. So stay tuned for more if you're interested.
We
But
also have
yeah,
we will also have our Fighting Corner trial, but a bit differently. Maybe with another fighting game. So stay tuned for more.
wink wink. And also we can also say that we have a Twitch channel for videogames.lu and for Fighting Corner. So there will also be more events coming in the future. Stay tuned. But enough dilly-dallying. Let's start with
Let's go right to the meat.
let's start with the main topic, with the main dish, the podcast for today. So what's the topic? We wanted to talk about a healthy mindset in fighting games. So for disclaimer, we are not in any way pros in fighting games, and also no pros. We have no psychology major or something like that. So everything we are saying right now is just based on our personal experience. Those are our opinions. If you're not okay with those, feel free to comment under this video and get a discussion going on. And yeah, but we wanted to yeah, kind of focus on this topic because I think every fighting gamer goes through that phase, and I think it's important to share some experience with that specific topic.
Yeah, it's also that I see a lot of people asking me or others around me, what do I do? How do I get the right mindset to play fighting games? Because it's not that. I mean, it's not an easy question to ask. But to ask, it's not an easy question to respond to, I would say, because everyone is different.
First
And
of all,
first of all, and so we kind of tried now to set some, let's say, some mini topics on the line. I hope they can help you if you're going to through this.
so the first topic will be the goals. Okay, so first of all, in every game, if you start something, you have to set the goal. And the first question is, of course, what are the right goals to have if you wanna succeed in this genre? So do you have any ideas?
It depends on what you want to achieve, of course. But I think that every competitive player wants to and I'm gonna say the buzzword here. They want to win. They want to be winners. So the goal should be, I want to win. I want to win a tournament, and I want to win everything and against everyone. You know.
The Pokemon goal. I want to be the very best.
Very best. Yeah, that's true. The Pokemon goal. And personally, for me, it's an easy goal to set. You know, it's like, okay, I have a new fighting game, be it Street Fighter, King of Fighters, Soul Calibur, I don't know. And then you say, okay, now I want to beat everybody, so I have to win. And it's an easy goal to set, but also simultaneously it's also a difficult one, because you will not win every time, especially against people who have already played it. So you have to set your goals right, and to say yeah, winning is a goal. I personally think that winning should never be the main focus or the main goal.
I think what newcomers always set themselves is like, okay, I say to myself, the goal is to win. I want to win. I want to win, be it a local tournament, be it ranked matches online, but they want to win. Whatever it takes, I want to take the win. And I mean, this goal might be a decent goal for a casual mindset, because if you're a casual player, you just wanna push some buttons. You don't want to get too much into the game, but you still want to enjoy the game. And how do you enjoy a game? By winning. So that's your goal. I want to win. I want to go online and body some people, then maybe get bored of by the game and then move on to another one. You know, that's, I think, it's very restrictive view on the casual player. But I think it's an easy goal for casuals, right? But if you are more invested, if you are more competitive, I think you have to pick your goals, and it has to be something that is reachable. And I think that saying I want to win, I want to be the best, I want to win a local, I want to win a major, I want to win a regional, I don't know. I think it's too big, especially for newcomers. And I can also say for intermediate players, it can also be exaggerated goal or not really a reachable goal.
Well, I've been thinking about what goals to set, and when I think about the goal to win, well, I think if your goal is to win, then I think you're not into the game yet. Because if all you care about is winning, then you're just playing the game to play the game. You're not really enjoying it by means of wanting to know more about the game. Because I had a few games, and it's not even just fighting games, where, for instance, Team Fortress 2 is a game I played a lot, and winning in that game felt good, just like it feels good to win in a fighting game. But at the end of the day, I was more interested in knowing the mechanics and how things interact, and how that situation, how I can handle certain situations better. So my goal kind of shifted over time, where I do not care as much anymore about winning, but rather to learn how to deal better with situations. So I think if you have the goal to win, well, it's a fine goal, but I think it's kind of a shallow goal if you want to really get into the game. Let's say you want to be the best Street Fighter player ever. It's a big goal. But if you want to be the best player in Street Fighter, your goal cannot be to win. Because if that's all you care about, then you are not interested enough in the game that you will know enough about the game to start winning.
And I also think that Sufura pretty much explained it really well. And I want to give another advice and use another buzzword that's always used on Twitter, on social medias, and other platforms. Is I would say I would rather replace winning with improvement, because improvement is, from in my opinion, especially for a competitive mindset, very, very important. Because improvement doesn't mean that you win every time. It means that you are starting to understand more of the game. Because you can lose 10 times against one of the best players, but you found something out, and that's already improvement. And I see a lot of players, especially newcomers, they play against players that are clearly better than them. They get demotivated. They're like, oh, and I didn't take a round off of him. And the pro player turns around and says, "Oh, you improved though." And they were like, "Huh? How did I improve?" Because they only see like the 10 win streak, or the 10 lose streak, I would say, for them.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Everyone jumping on me.
The wanting to win mindset, it can kind of create the trap in itself.
Yeah.
Because if you're so focused on winning, then you are less willing to experiment, because you have kind of a tendency to stick to the things you know that works, or rather that used to work. So you tend to stay with those things instead of experimenting with new stuff. Because from personal experience, I know that if you try to do something new, you will lose more often. And if your goal is to keep winning, then that's not in your interest. So we'll probably get into more detail later on, but
yeah,
it can, just saying that the winning mindset, if you want to get good, having a winning mindset can be counterintuitive.
Yeah, I think that the win goal, if you take it like that, it masks the improvement. You know, if you only care about winning, you want to have the win by any means. And for instance, if you play against players that are clearly weaker than you, if your goal is to win all the time, then it's okay to play against those guys and always win and really never care about improvement, because those guys are clearly weaker than you. They don't they aren't at your level, so winning is a piece of cake. But as soon as a stronger player enters the room, you immediately feel threatened, because now you have to improve.
I have a challenge.
Yeah, and he's the player that comes in is like an is a hindrance to your wins, right? And it shouldn't be. I think that the stronger player shouldn't be a hindrance. It should be a challenge. It should be okay. Now I'll use all my knowledge and try, and the focus is on try to beat this stronger player. Okay? And 99% of the time you're gonna lose to that player. Okay? But it shouldn't be something that's negative, right? Because if your mindset, if your goal is to improve, then you welcome such players. But if your goal is to win, you kind of avoid such players. Okay? And in a fighting game, the genre itself is built around competition. It's competition, straight up. And especially if you.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think wanting to win is wrong, though. I think wanting to win is right, because it means that you're invested in the game.
Yeah, but
the bad part is, I think. Well, continue your.
It's seeing the win as the only goal.
Yeah, right.
That's what makes it dangerous. I mean, wanting to win, everybody wants to win. It's okay. But
Yeah.
if your goal is only to win, you avoid such players, right? And you can also want to win, but also want to improve, right?
I think that if you set your goal to improve, I think that over time the wins will come.
Yes.
Because if you set your goals to improve, then I mean you concentrate on your improvement, and those can be small things. When I get some examples, be it like I want to enter air more often because I don't want people jumping in on me, or dealing with a specific matchup. I don't know what to do against. I don't know Seth in Street Fighter 5. So you go to the lab, or you watch videos on how to deal with Seth, and try it yourself, and then you will automatically get better. And when you get better automatically, then the wins will come.
Yeah, the
The
wins
problem
are
is,
a consequence of improvement.
yeah, but the problem is that some players, also in our community, they concentrate too much on the W, on
Yeah.
the upper side, and it's not always that important, especially in casuals, and I think that people should be more concentrated on improving. And I'm saying like all people should, because I was the same. I was also very mad when I lost, especially in the Street Fighter 4 era.
Oh Lord.
And I think Alexen has some videos, but I hope he will never publish them.
I'll release it. I'll release it when it's
I
time.
have to see that now.
Nah, nah. Don't want to see my dark side. But I was always salty as hell, and I was like, I was saying, oh, he plays cheap ass characters, he just wants to win with
Yeah,
Ken, with Tatsus, I don't know.
Oh,
the usual
walking
scrub
scrub quotes.
Yeah,
It's
oh my Lord. It was
ultra scrub quotes.
it was the
So I don't-
scrubbers of the scrub quotes, man. Yeah, but
And that's
I was like that too. I mean,
Yeah.
let's not talk like it's only rot. But yeah, but it's something that everybody goes through because it's easy to have that, okay, I want to win kind of
Yeah.
mentality. And improvement is not really something that you see in mainstream gaming. I mean, if you play like Uncharted or something that's like story-based games, uh, you don't need to improve. I mean, you play the story, it can be challenging, but it's really not on a fighting game level. You don't play against human opponents.
Mm.
You can kind of do it if you are in the speedrunner community.
Yes, but that's not the mainstream. I believe so, right? Yeah, but
It is
of
a bit
course,
niche, yeah.
there are other categories. I'm not saying that fighting games are the only competitive. It's the only competitive genre, but yeah, some people just want to play, just want to relax in front of in the living room, in the couch, in front of the TV, just playing some games. They don't want to improve. They just want to push some buttons and see the story and do some cool shit, right? But in fighting games, it's different. But in every competitive game, it's different. You have to invest some time. And I think a good goal to have is focusing on improvement. And in this bigger goal, which is the improvement, you can have smaller goals that really focus on what you have to work on. Like for instance, I don't enter air too much. Let's enter air a bit more. I'm shit at movement. Let's improve that.
Tag the throws.
Tag the throws or train my hit confirms, train my combos, and so on and so on and so on. So in this bigger goal, you can set yourself small goals, and every time you reach one of those goals, your hit confirms get better, you tech grabs better, you are more aware of your movement, of your spacement, something like that. I think if you one by one, if you reach those small goals, you're gonna see your improvement, and with the improvement comes the big consequence, which is the bigger goal, the biggest goal, which is then the winning one, right? And I think that's those are a healthy set of goals you should have, especially for newcomers. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Of course, the twin agrees with the other twin.
Of course.
Yeah, I think it's also a bit generalized, you know, but
Yeah, but I mean, it's not that easy to have that mind shift, right? Because many people fall in that autopilot trap. I think Sofura talked a bit about that. They don't want to change their playstyle because they're comfortable with what they know now, and I think it's the autopilot trap. You know, you want to use the tech that always worked until now, but if you face an opponent that knows how to deal with your shit, right? You have to change, adapt, go back to the lab, and it can be tiring and frustrating to do. So, but you have to deal with that. That's part of fighting games, right? Especially if you want to invest more time, if you want to improve, if you want more of the game.
Yeah, if you, I have to say from personal experience, if your autopilot is not working anymore and you start to lose, you have to learn. Well, you have to identify what the issue is. Then you have to learn what the counter is, and then you have to learn to actually do the counter, which means you will play worse for a time. So imagine this: you are starting to lose a lot more. And in order to get better, you have to train something new, which in turn causes you to lose even more.
It's a cycle.
If you until you have that new thing in your muscle memory, you will lose more than if you just stayed with your old stuff. And that's why I said that if you have winning as your main goal, it kind of creates this trap where you will not accept doing something new. Because when you start doing something new, you're not very good at it yet. You start losing. You drop the new thing you wanted to do, and the temptation to say just fuck this shit is very big because all those L's piling up. If winning is all you care about, those L's will demotivate you really badly.
It's like an avalanche. You know, once you
It
try to
kinda is,
adapt,
yeah.
it's like it kind of is. It's like that snowball that gets bigger and bigger, and that snowball says L. You know.
I mean, I got to silver rank with Kareen just doing full screen Rosenas. And it kind of works because I see people in platinum still doing that, and apparently it works. But I saw entering to silver that I was kind of gambling at that point. I was not really winning the way I wanted to win. So that's when I started to actually learn the game. And people told me, you have to stop doing this. You have to use more buttons more. And you have to actually use your buttons, not just special moves. You have to walk instead of dash. You have to use everything your character has. So, of course, I didn't know how to use buttons. I didn't know my ranges. I didn't know anything. So I just randomly pressed buttons. I forced myself to not use a single special. I just randomly pressed buttons. And because I didn't know my buttons, I didn't know my ranges, I dropped from silver right back down to bronze, like 2 leagues.
Damn.
Until it actually started to get better. It's really demotivating.
Yeah, it can be really demotivating, but it's part of the improvement.
Yeah.
And now you're at super platinum.
Super platinum, working on my diamonds.
You gotta play the long game with fighting games. That's what many people, I think, don't realize with this genre. It takes a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah,
But
and that's why winning as a mindset is, if you really want to make it your main game, winning cannot be your main goal. It kind of has to be something different, like understanding the game better, knowing your situations better,
yeah, like
stuff like that.
small reachable goals is better than a big unreachable one. But before we move on to the next point, I wanted to ask from yourself, what are your personal goals in your, it can be your main game, it can be your secondary fighting game, but what are some of your goals that you reach or didn't reach? It depends on the situation. Rod?
Mm, I'm thinking because I have multiple goals. I would say. Um,
Or what is the most important one?
uh, I actually both are important, but I say both, but it's because I divide it into. I mean, as a TO, um, my goal is also to interest people into fighting games.
I see.
And so personally, I want to play. It's also because I love them. I love fighting games, even the ones that I'm not good at. I want to play them, and I want to make people interested to play the game. Like I want to play Fighting Egg Slayer because I think it's a dope game, and
It is.
I try to do everything to get people interested. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, like with facts, you know. But it's okay because I just want to show people that I like the genre, that I like to play uh, fighting games, you know, and that I have fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, if I get one person interested in fighting EX Slayer, Soul Calibur, something like that, right? My day is made, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm
So
happy.
it's like more the TO kind of the organizer kind of goal as a competitive player, because I also am competitive. My goal is like it's to improve, it's to get better. But I set this weird limitation that I have to get better with my characters. You know, so it's not really I want to understand the whole game. I mean, of course, the mechanic of the game, I have to understand it. But I want to improve with let's take, I mean, with Voldo in Soul Calibur 6, or with Vega in Street Fighter 5. And I set myself some small goals, like we said earlier, to reach it. I know I will never be the best Vega player in Europe or the best Vega player in the world. But I always try to learn new stuff. You know,
I see, I see. You know what my goal is, which is a bit similar to yours.
I mean, we are twins, so
My goal is to do some sick shit with my character.
on
Oh
stream.
damn!
If I'm on stream and I win with the perfect, and it was too easy, I'm I think I might be more upset than if I lose a match but I did something crazy. You know? Like
Like baiting an anti-air with a super.
for instance, yeah. It still stings, right? I see. Um, uh, let's say
Getting a stun combo with Vanessa.
getting a stun combo with Vanessa. If I lose the game afterwards, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
The reason why I play fighting games is I just want to play my characters. That's why I am also an ultra character loyalist. I actually don't care who's the strongest. If my character is in it, I'm gonna play it. As long as it's fun to play the character, of course, I will play it. Um, and that's all there is to it. I just want to do some cool shit. I mean, Vanessa is all about stun combos, so yeah, I guess I gotta learn the stun combos. I mean, at first I couldn't do any of those, so I sat down, I lapped them, and sometimes I got them, sometimes I dropped them. Of course, it's the usual. And same with Lee in Tekken. I mean, with Anna and so on. You know, it's just like, yeah, I want to see my characters win. I want to do some cool shit, and by that I can also interest some people to play the
Yeah,
game.
it kind of goes the same.
Yeah, it kind of goes, yeah, and yeah, that's all there is to it. So I don't even think that's a very competitive mindset, but kinda. But it's more like yeah, I want to do some crazy shit.
Yeah. What are your goals, Wolf?
Depends on the game.
Mm.
I have different goals in each game, and it's kind of telling what the goals are because you can see at what level I am in those games depending on the goals I have. So on Street Fighter V, my current goal is getting better with whiff punishes and single hit confirms.
Mm.
Oh lord.
So those are my goals.
Yeah,
And I played some sets recently where people said, "Damn, I cannot whiff a button against you."
Mhm.
When I hear that, it's like, oh yes, I see progress.
I hate it too, yo.
Yeah, now it's even worse. So beware.
Yeah.
So
Barcelona.
those are my goals right now in Street Fighter.
Mm.
Which yeah, it's kind of an abstract goal. It's not like, oh, I want to get my execution better or something. No, it's just like really, really focused and specific.
It's really specific, but that's what we were talking about. You know, it depends on the person and on what you have to improve on.
So in Samsho, the goal is way simpler. It's just learning
Not getting too
where.
Oh.
That doesn't bother me too much. What bothers me is I'm trying to get back into Charlotte,
Mm.
and I cannot get a feel for what range is really comfortable for her.
Mm.
I tried to use the long-reaching special, and I'm just this little bit too far away to still hit.
Mm.
So I don't know her ranges yet. So it's kind of like I want to know the range where I'm comfortable doing stuff.
Mm.
I mean, I saw some improvement. We played last time, and
Yeah, but during those sets, that's what I was focused on. I was trying to find a range where I'm good,
yeah,
where I can take advantage of her strengths.
yeah, that's of course a nice goal to have, because you're fairly new to Samsung, right? You're not
Well,
as
I wouldn't
as
say
focused.
new, but it's not. I don't play it as a main game.
Oh, there was a big break, right? So yeah,
So and Dead or Alive is like it's more like recognizing situations faster
Mm.
because I want to be able to hold more often and more consistently.
Mm.
my goal in
Because
that
that's a big issue. I don't have an issue with the mind game in Dead or Alive right now. I think that's one of my strongest points.
that's my issue.
But my weakest point is holds, and my character is kind of specialized in holds, so I have to get good at it.
My goal in that whole life is don't be a salty bitch.
Wow.
Well, don't
It's,
play again.
So yeah, but my goals kind of shift depending on my level on the game and what I want to improve.
yeah, and that's I think that's the main point with goals. It's just like don't set unreachable goals. Focus on what you have to improve. I mean, improvement is really important in fighting games, especially if you want to be if you want to win. And I think the wins will come with improvement. So the wins are a direct consequence of improvement. So focus your mind on improvement. That's our advice, at least. I mean,
Yeah. And with the wins also come the L's.
yeah, and I wanted to talk about else
Yeah.
losses and failure. And I must say that we talked a bit about that in the goals, right? But losses are inevitable in fighting games. I mean, it's also a reason why you don't set your goal to just winning, because there will come a time where you're gonna lose, man.
I'm
Just
gonna lose
how
a
it
lot.
is. I mean, it's just part of the. I will also say that you're gonna lose more than win. Even pro players that are good now experienced some heavy losses, and I think, and the losses how do you say, they weigh more than the wins.
Mm.
I have seen a video recently from Brian F.
Shout
where he
out,
talked.
he's watching, of course.
Okay. Where he was talking about when he moved from Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5,
So far,
and he was like, "Ah, this game
So
is trash," and he almost stopped playing Street Fighter 5 completely because he kept losing.
Yeah, that's
Then
also
he persevered, and now he's a fairly good player now. He can make the pros players sweat.
That's also something that you will also see, because fighting games, you also have different iterations. We talked about Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5. You also have now we will have sometime in the future we will have KOF 15 compared to KOF 14, and we also have Guilty Gear Strive opposed to Guilty Gear Rev 2. So it's a mindset that is pretty prevalent, I would say, in fighting games, or in the FGC, I would say. And most players, and also I'm also guilty of that. I started playing Street Fighter 5, and I took a lot of L's in a period of time, and I just said, okay, this game sucks. I don't want to play it anymore. And
That's oh yeah, keep going.
there were also other reasons for it, because there was Tekken 7, there was KOF 14. I want to concentrate on other games, and I wasn't happy about the fight money system and all other things, but it's something that will haunt you, And sometimes you have good reasons, because sometimes a game feels completely different. But because when I see Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5, these are completely different games, So I also understand if people don't want to play Street Fighter 5 because it's just not for them, But I think that losses contribute to this kind of mindset. You lose a lot because you have to relearn the game. If you're good at Street Fighter 4, it doesn't mean that you are automatically strong in Street Fighter 5. You have to put the time in.
I mean, there's always fundamentals, right? But
there's always fundamentals, but they won't help you. I would say, in the top. I would say the top play.
Gotta make use of those crash counters, man.
Yeah, yeah. V trigger systems, V skill systems.
Yeah, but you gotta deal with those. That's also very important if there's a game change, right? So many people just go back to the previous game,
which isn't a bad thing, but
it's not a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if the reason is because you lose. Because if you say the reason is because I lose, I'm like, oh, okay, but you were excited to play this new game. Just because you lose, I mean, losing, you also lose in the previous game, right? Or are you always winning, right? It's like it's for me it's not a reason. If you say I don't like the game because I don't like the V trigger system, if we take Street Fighter 5 as an example, right? I don't like it because it feels too slow. I prefer the other one, blah blah blah. Then I can say, yeah, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, it's subjective. You have your preferred games. You don't always have to stick with the newest one. But sometimes I think that some players take the loss reason. Okay. And I think that's not a good thing to have, because as we already said, the losses are inevitable. They are part of the game. And and they're actually how do you say needed.
Helpful.
Yeah, helpful. They're needed for your improvement. I always say how do I say always take the L as lessons, not as losses. Well, it's not that I say it, right, but I hear it all the time, you know. You only you learn easier from a loss than from a win, because if you win again, if you win, you don't need to improve, you don't need to adapt, especially if you win against weaker players. But as soon as you encounter a stronger player and you begin to have some difficulties, you have to adapt on the spot, you have to change your play style. I mean, that's only gonna enrich you further down the line. You will have more tricks up your sleeves, right?
Yeah, more options.
More options, more awareness. You get less nervous because you already experienced some losses, you know. That's what it is. It's the fear of loss that is really damaging.
Yeah, even that's great, because I think that the fear of loss is more, I would say, more dangerous than the loss itself.
Yeah.
Because I also know people who don't want to participate in tournaments because they are afraid to lose.
Yeah.
And they're good players, but they're just afraid to lose because they don't want to, I don't know, to be humiliated, or I would say. But it's not that, I would say. I would rather take a player who goes 0-2 every time, but always comes back to play the game, than someone who wins once and then stops playing the game. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And
yeah. Shout out to
because
Deca Champs. He's listening.
Deca Champs is one of them. I think it's but it's not always 0-2, because he got them.
Because he improved.
Yeah,
He listened to our podcast, so in the future he went to the no, it's okay. but yeah, it's that's what fascinates me. I mean, this player was always one of the weaker ones, right? But slowly but surely, you see the improvement because he never gave up. That's a beautiful story, right?
Yeah.
Hadouken in the streets, Shoryuken in the street. What?
What?
Huh?
Oh Lord.
Why?
Yeah.
Why
So to continue, I think knowing how to handle losses is very important in fighting games. Many people get just discombobulated by the thought of losing, right? I mean, no names in the FGC, but we see that also in the in our community very often, I must say. Very often, people that disappear after they lose, even though they were there when they won, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something, yeah.
So that you have to, yeah, you just have to embrace the losses. You have to
Embrace it. You have to see it as part of your improvement. Losing doesn't mean losing is not a humiliation. Losing is not a failure. Losing is just a step, yeah, closer to your goal. Because newsflash, you talked about those people that didn't want to participate because they know they were gonna lose, right? You know who else is going to lose in that tournament?
Other people.
Not other people. Everyone except one.
Yeah.
Everybody and their mama is gonna lose. Some will lose earlier, some will lose later. Just one player is going to win. Okay? Well, you can say, okay, I'd rather lose as second place than last place. But actually, there's really no difference. Only the winner counts, right?
Nah, man. I want to lose. I don't know about you, but I want to lose with a good match.
Yeah.
You can also lose with a good match in the first round.
I'm satisfied with that.
You know, and some people want to be on stream, but they didn't get to go on stream because they lost earlier, right? But in this case, the goal is to be on stream. You know, and that is something you can ask me in the gaming cafe. Can I be on stream? And say, okay, you go on stream. You know, it's because I am ultimately the one that decides who's going on stream, right? And I have no particular order. I'm just like, okay, this match looks like it's already finished, so we can put those guys in the stream. You know, it depends on the tournament, right? But a loss is a loss. I mean, you can also lose badly as second place, right?
Yeah.
No bracket reset, and you get 3 perfects in a row.
Or you get a bracket reset like 3-0, and then
What?
and you lose 3-0, so you were on the winner's side, and then you lose the grand finals. You know. Yeah. So I think losses are part of the game. You have to embrace them, and as soon as you embrace them and accept them, the sooner you will improve.
Well, there's something about accepting the loss, though, because if your goal is to win, if I can take it back to that,
Take it back.
take it back to the origins. No, but what there's a thing I see a lot, and I've been more aware of it as of late. But if you want to win and you don't, and at that moment you're salty because you wanted that win. What I see often is people finding excuses for their losses because that's all they care about, basically.
Yeah.
So they start with the excuses. It was lag, or the game didn't read my input. And even those, I think, are kind of harmless. The real bad ones, in my opinion, are the ones where you start insulting your opponent. Where your excuse is going to, oh, he's playing like a scrub. Or he's just doing DPs. Oh, he's just doing this. Oh, he's just. Oh, yeah, of course he wins. He just picked Seth or one I personally have been hearing a lot in Season 4 on Street Fighter. Oh, he's just playing Karin.
Yeah.
That one is true, actually. No,
Yeah, actually, it's very true, actually. Especially when your name is Sakura. What?
So, yeah, well, you might say that. Oh, that's just some mindless salt. Well, I believe that it's kind of more insidious than that, because when you what you're basically doing is you are delegitimizing your opponent's playstyle. And if you delegitimize the playstyle, you don't feel like you have to learn it because he didn't beat you legit. Catch my drift?
Yeah, but guess what? He beat you.
Yeah, he beat you, but he's gonna say, "Oh well, I'm gonna play against the pros, and the pros don't play like that."
Well,
Okay.
then let this guy play against the pros.
Well, here's a funny story. I've seen a few Brian F streams, and if he notices that you cannot anti-air, he will jump 5-6 times in a row.
Yeah, because why? Well,
because he found a weakness and he's gonna exploit it.
So why shouldn't you?
So of course, why should you?
Yeah.
But the trap here is that losing, not embracing the loss, but instead trying to find excuses for your loss. Which we all get salty sometimes. I get it, but as soon as you realize that you're trying to find excuses for your loss, especially trying to insult your opponent, it's like, be careful with that. Because you might as well just put yourself in a mindset where you will refuse to learn how to deal with the things you're struggling against.
I was
So
actually
one of the things I changed as well for myself, because I recognize that I was doing it as well. So instead of just saying, I hate this Ken player because he just plays scrub random Ken,
Oh, Christy.
and
Shout
yeah,
outs
but
to
Chrissy as well.
Super Nearly.
Chrissy is just top tier. So hey,
Hey,
no, so
my heart.
there's a guy in Platinum. I have met him a few times now. He's a Can player, and he plays the typical Rago online Can.
Hmm.
And I could make it easy and say, well, he plays Rago Can. I'm just going to rank up, and I'm never going to see him again. Well, that's a bad mindset right there, because why wouldn't you want to learn how to win against that playstyle?
Mm-hmm.
So now, instead of saying, oh, this playstyle is stupid, he's just mashing DPs, he's just neutral jump, forward jump, sweep, whatever. Instead of saying this playstyle is trash, I'm just gonna say, I don't know how to deal with that playstyle yet.
Yeah.
Because that will reinforce the mindset of, I need to learn how to play against that person.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that does, and that's more psychological, is that if you insult the other guy's playstyle, even while you're playing, you are adding stuff onto the pile. And if you then lose against that stupid scrub player that you called an idiot, well, what does that make you?
Mm-hmm.
That will come back to bite you in the ass. If you insult the opponent and your opponent wins, that loss will sting your ego way worse than if you hadn't said anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
I
I
was-
think
Totally agree.
embracing loss is two things. It's protecting your own ego by not insulting your opponent, and getting yourself in a mindset where you don't try to find excuses for your loss, but instead say, oh, I don't know how to deal with that yet. Make it about yourself and what you can do against that loss so it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
I was actually also a victim of that mentality, right? I was always blaming Rashid. I was like, yeah, but he
Of course.
can run. He's a KOF character in Street Fighter, blah blah blah. He's just unfair, you know. He's OP. The same, I said also the same with Shune in KOF 14. I was like, yeah, he's a Guilty Gear character in KOF, right? So yeah, that's kind of unfair, blah blah blah. So, and I didn't bother to lab because I know that Rashid at high level is not that. I mean, you have strong Rashid players, right? But he's manageable, right? You have answers against some things that he's doing, and of course, I didn't play against top players, so I play against players that, yeah, were intermediate level or even beginners. If we take the first weeks that I played Street Fighter 5, right? So it's easy to have that kind of mentality because it's hard to blame yourself on your losses, right? It's easier
Yeah,
to
we
say,
all
no, it's the opponent's fault, right?
Yeah, we all went through that. That's true.
I have videos from Rod who's always blaming the.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's doing EX Tatsus.
I'm gonna edit now the videos on the on the podcast.
No.
Nah.
Protect my dick.
We don't do that here. But yeah, embracing loss is again very
Important. I would say.
important. Yeah, very important.
I know
I
for a
will try.
fact that because it happened a few times already, where I start improving. Like the first time that ever happened was like where I went to silver and then back to bronze and then back to silver again, where I suddenly saw improvements and I went from bronze to silver straight away, and then shortly after from silver straight to gold. I was like, I was even playing on the first season of Salt Mine League, which is a big thing now, but it was a bit smaller back then. Where I was almost in top 8. And even then there were diamond players in there. So I was like, oh man, I'm so good. I'm the best one. And
Arrogance.
you will hit a wall at some point where you will realize that's not the case.
Mm.
Because the mountain you thought you were climbing is not a mountain. It's just
A hill.
a hill. And the real mountain you see behind the hill. Now you see it. You didn't see it before, but now you see it. And you start climbing that one. And then I got to platinum. And I thought, oh yeah, now I'm really good. And then I saw new problems. And then I realized that mountain was a hill as well. And I saw the real mountain behind that one again. So I think I have more of those moments where I start to realize I'm not really that good. And at the end of the day, I just tell everybody now I'm not good. I'm not that good because I think that will be the case forever. And I hear even some really good players also say like they're trash, just because it's like an automatic thing they say now.
And it's also to be aware of the skill gap, because the skill gap is really, really big in fighting games, you know.
Yeah, I played against GamerB some 2 years ago, I think, and there was just no contest. Everything I did not work. Not a single thing. I was when I started the game against GamerB, I was like, I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna make him not, or I'm gonna make him react to something I do. Nah, man. Nah, man.
Yeah,
He didn't emote like he was infectious or something. He didn't do nothing. He just kicked my ass 5-0 next.
Next. Yeah, it was. I know that feel because I played against Score in 14, and it was like, ugh. It was really nice though.
He's the nicest dude. He's the nicest dude.
It's a nice dude, but it was like,
He bodied
okay,
me in
my third characters, you know, it's like he was playing like Yamazaki. I don't know. I was like, dude, it's not his main team, and I'm getting bodied, you know.
Yeah, he bodied me in Samsho.
In Samsho, yeah, I played against him in Samsho.
Yeah.
What's he playing? He played Hamaru, no?
Hamaru, yeah. And it was kind of fascinating though. I mean, getting bodied that well, you know. But yeah, at the end of the day, I knew I was gonna lose. I mean, Score, right?
Yeah. But we could move to the next session. So.
Yeah, it's a big one, the failure one. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something that's contributing to this mindset also, I believe, because there was a shift in fighting games if you compare the old ones versus the new ones. It's the information that is available now for every fighting game, right? And I see this information. I mean, be it YouTube videos, frame data, tutorials. I don't know. You name it, right? Nowadays, it's easy to get any information about the game. How do I do this and that? I go type on YouTube or Google or I don't know, and I find the information I wanna find. You know. But I think that it's kind of overwhelming for beginners. So in a certain way, I see it as being too much, because we already talked about this giving up a kind of mentality, the fear of loss, right? So let's imagine you're a new player, beginner. You want to learn a certain game. You get your information about the mechanics, about a certain character, and you play some matches. At first you win, and then slowly but surely you begin to lose, right? As the opponents get stronger and stronger. And then you just look up, for instance, that your character is not that high tier anymore, or was never high tier, he's more like a mid tier. Those are the top tier characters. And your immediate reaction is to, yeah, I gotta switch characters then. Then you switch characters, and it doesn't help. Then you say, okay, I'm gonna switch to another character who's also top tier. I may have chances with him, right? Or her. And I think that this kind of information can be overwhelming for some people. I took tier list now as an example, but you could do this with any type of information for fighting games. And even if you if you see other fighting games, right? If you say, okay, I'm gonna play Street Fighter now, but then you see in a video about Dragon Ball Fighters, then you change to Dragon Ball Fighters, then you see Dead or Alive, so I'm gonna switch to Dead or Alive, blah blah blah. So this yeah, this over should I say,
Saturation, I would
yeah,
say.
saturation maybe. I didn't want to say saturation, but yeah, maybe. It's like you don't know where to start. And this kind of overwhelms you, then the wins don't come. You blame the information, the opponent, the characters, the game, rather than focusing on improving. Because I think that no amount of information is gonna give you the exact thing you need to improve. There's no YouTube video, I don't know, tutorial that says, yeah, you gotta work on your anti-airs. Maybe there is, but it's always general, right? But I think the improvement is subjective. It's very individual. It's like I have problems with this and that. I have to improve in this and that,
I
and I have to do
see.
it also my way, right?
I see this kind of mindset also when people watch pro players playing
Mm-hmm.
a certain game. The example that comes to mind is in Tekken when they see like pro players going at it, and they see like two Mishimas, say Kazuya and Tayaji, like wave dashing on one another without pressing a button,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's like, whoa. And yeah, it's really impressive because um, none of the pro players pushes a button, and even if one did, they would hit the other one, you know. But it's a whole other mind game between those two pro players than when you play on green rank in Tekken, because in green rank in Tekken, everyone just presses buttons and is in your face, you know. You can never just wave dash on your opponent because he's gonna like push button, push rage out, you know. And
I think
so it's like, yeah. So do you want to to say something?
I think the issue with the information
Mm-hmm.
is not that there is too much information. I think it's good that we have a lot of information because you can find information that suits your level. But I think that's the issue, though, finding the information that suits your level.
Mm.
Because
Yeah, the
I can
right
tell you,
information.
that, oh, if I do this, you can do that. Yeah, I can tell you if I'm at that range and I'm walking back and forth at that range, then I am trying to whiff punish you. So what you should do instead is a dash up so you win space. And then because I want to keep a space, I have to go. That's not the kind of information I would tell a beginner, for instance.
Mm.
That's the kind of information that an intermediate player who is trying to get into the next level, that's the sort of information the intermediate player needs to learn. So that's the info I would tell that player. But if a new player comes in and says, hey, look, I want to get out of bronze, I got to get into silver, I'm not going to teach him anything about, well, and not anything, but I will not focus on spacing.
Mm.
Because the people in silver and below, they do not walk forward. They either dash up or jump forward. So what I will teach a player who is starting out is anti-airs, checking dashes, learn one combo or maybe two, depending on the player, on the character, and only use that combo if you know it's gonna work. That's the kind of stuff I would teach a new player, and that's because I think that's the kind of information that player needs to start winning.
Yeah.
And I see the same thing when I play Karine against a weaker player. It's like when I play a weaker player, I usually try to do the things I'm not good at yet, because I can focus on it. But
Using
if
them as a punching bag.
kinda, but it's more like they cannot pressure me in a way that takes focus away from the stuff I want to learn.
Yeah, they allow you to do that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but if I actually wanted to teach them, I would have to play in a way that players at his rank would play. And then explain to him, okay, you see that full screen Rasenna I did just there. If Karine is at full screen range, do not duck at all. Just block standing. If you see her jump forward, just block standing, because she cannot do anything from that distance that hits you low. So that's the kind of information I would give that player, because it's relevant to that player. That's the kind of the stuff his opponents are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the issue with having a lot of information out there is that, yeah, all that information is valid, but it's maybe not the right information for you yet.
Mm-hmm.
So while you think you're learning about delayed buttons, which is a good technique. It's a technique I'm using a lot right now because it works in platinum. But the funny thing is, if I play against one of our local players who is in silver, I will lose the first few rounds because I'm doing with delay buttons. And if you mash, you're gonna win against delay buttons. So imagine a new player who's watching a guide saying, "Oh, delay buttons are strong. Is a strong option." He's gonna do that in silver, and he's gonna lose every single time because people in delay buttons is good for specific situations, and people in silver are not afraid of the option it's good against. They just press buttons.
Mm-hmm.
So that information is not yet relevant for you. And I think that's the issue with information. You need someone who tells you that's the kind of information you need right now to improve. That information is good too, but it's not relevant for you yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because also it also goes together with the scrub mentality, I would say, to say, oh, this player doesn't play right. He doesn't play like the pro players because he's mashing buttons, and my delayed buttons, my superior technique should actually win, you know. But it's like, use the information or learn the things that you have to improve at your level, and the advanced techniques will come at an advanced rank, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is though, even if I know the advanced techniques, I know how to delay button,
Mm-hmm.
I will meet people who notice that I'm delay button,
Mm-hmm.
and they will start to mash as well.
It's a mind game.
So it's not like frame traps become obsolete in platinum. No. You have to use frame traps and now also delay buttons, because if people, yeah, you have to you don't replace techniques, you use new ones, and that's the thing I need to do. If I play against a silver player and I try to do delay buttons, I lose a few rounds until my mind goes, oh yeah, we're playing someone who mashes buttons, so why am I not adapting? Why am I not using more frame traps? Because I have to use the stuff I need to do to win against that particular player.
Mm-hmm.
I could one, two, three. I could delegitimize that player's playstyle and keep losing. I could do that instead.
which isn't healthy.
which is which isn't helping. So, which is also a thing I see players say like, oh, I'm in the new challenger Discord, which is a place for new players to start learning fighting games. And I've seen a few people who say, I don't want to play against these low ranked players. I want to play the big boys. I have this friend who is diamond, and I can sometimes win against him. So why should I play against the silvers? They just mash. And yeah, those kind of people, I keep telling them as well. If they mash, you have to adapt to them.
Yeah.
And if they mash all the time, then you know what to do. And but then they say, but I want to go down to their level. Well, okay, well that's an attitude problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's an unhealthy mindset. Because in every fighting game, you gotta adapt to your opponent. If the opponent is mashing or spamming, that's a term I hear in our FGC very often. Oh, he just spams. He just spams. Yeah, if he's just spamming, then do something about it. Just do. You know how to deal with spammers, right? No, you don't know? Well, go back to bronze.
It's okay to say I don't know how to deal with that, and that's maybe why he's spamming. He noticed that you don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So ask the other person, hey, do you know how to deal with this with my character? And then the other person might not know the solution for your character, but he might say, oh, that move is actually kind of punishable if you have a move that goes through my projectile or something.
But it's I don't know. It's also an attitude problem, I would say, because it's like, or they play like scrubs, or they play like very noob like. But even when I play Vega, and I notice that you don't do anything against EX Flying Barcelonas, I'm gonna EX Flying Barcelona all day long when I have meta.
You're gonna spam flying Barcelona.
Yeah, because it's an option that they cannot deal with, so it's an opening for me, you know. Even though I know that when I play against better players, I shouldn't spam EX Flying Barcelona.
Then you do and get V-shifted into CA.
Yeah, dumbass. It's actually let's say it's actually not allowed to do that.
The flashback.
Mm-hmm. I asked Capcom and they said, "Oh no, that's not allowed."
Yeah. Sure. But yeah, to kind of bring it back to information. Yeah. So if you notice someone is spamming something, it's like, okay, he's just spamming because you are allowing him to do it. So you should look up information that is relevant to the issues you're having.
Which is always available, you know. Sometimes you just have to.
Well, that's the issue. You have information out there right now for every skill level. The issue now is not to find information. The issue now is finding the right information that is relevant for you.
Mm-hmm. And so it also depends on the game, because for Street Fighter V, I think there's a lot of information out there. But if I think about Samsho or King of Fighters, I don't think there's a lot of information or specific or factual, you know.
Okay, that might be true, yeah.
Yeah. Also, there are informations, you know, but not the specific ones.
Not for every situation.
Yeah.
But I mean, you gotta do it the old school way and find it yourself, right?
Yeah, go to the lab, set the dummy.
But that's also something that I really don't like. But I was also in the wrong there. Saying to newcomers, "Watch this pro player." That's actually an idea I got from. Well, it's not an idea, but the main man in Sweden, the Tekken YouTuber. He talked about that because many people give that advice. Just watch this pro player if you want to see some Yoshimitsu. Watch iMusician if you want to get good with Yoshimitsu. And iMusician, he does things with Yoshimitsu which I can't comprehend.
Even I can, and I'm Yoshimitsu player.
Even the Yoshimitsu can compare. And why is that so? But because it's iMusician knows why he's doing this. But if you watch a pro player and you just see him doing this, you don't know the reason why you should do this. You just do this. And then it doesn't work. Because you don't use it in the same situation when a musician is using it, or the pro player, right? So it's actually a really, really bad advice to say, watch this pro player.
I wouldn't say.
No, it's not a very bad advice. You can watch pro players, get some ideas, right? But you shouldn't focus only on that. You should also, again, like Sulfura said, you should pick the informations that you have to know. You have to know your weaknesses. You have to work on your weaknesses. The pro players don't have your weaknesses, right? So you gotta work on that, and then you can get some ideas from the pro players. But it's not like watching pro players is not a tutorial video. That's all it is.
I actually have like an example for that because I have seen a few punk streams.
And now you think you're punk, right?
Yeah, of course I am.
Big
Have
shot.
you seen my single hit confirms lately? Hey.
Hey, there it
No,
is.
No, but the thing is, I watch punk, and I just watch him play Karina, and I'm just impressed. The thing is, though,
True.
sometimes he ends up in a situation that I recognize.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Urian did that target combo with the overhead, and he activated that into mirrors, and they're like, oh shit, I know that situation. I hate it. And then I think, okay, so now Punk is in that situation that I hate. How is he gonna do that? How is he gonna deal with that? And the funny thing is that he just stood there, and then he jumped backwards over the mirror. So he was on the other side of the mirror. It was super simple. My mind was blown by how simple it was.
There's also because it's also a specific situation. I also have an example of that because as a Yoshimitsu player in Tekken and also in Soul Calibur, but mostly in Tekken, I saw a punish because I always play against Chris Vanik, and he plays Lucky Chloe, and also Zeku. And Chris Vanik especially, he does always the carry roll.
Oh lord.
And the carry roll, he's coming, he's rolling.
Yeah.
And I always want to know how to deal with it. You know, I know you can sidestep it, but I don't have the reflexes for that, or sidewalk, I would say. And I saw one stream, and I can't remember who it was, but I saw a Yoshimitsu player dealing with that, and he was just punishing. So he blocked the move, and he punished it with flash. The flash move as a punish.
Yeah, because it's very fast, right?
Because it's normally for Sulfura because he doesn't know Tekken. Flash is a counter move actually. You just do it when people are, I don't know, pushing a button, and then you intercept them with a counter. Then you get a free combo out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't use it as a punish, but in this case, because Lucky Chloe, I want to say Yucky Chloe, but
Yeah, but it's I don't see any problems with that.
Yucky Chloe, no, Lucky Chloe. Lucky Chloe is really in your face when she does the move. She's really near you, so you can easily do the counter move, and I didn't think about that, you know. And when I saw that scene, I was like, I have a new punish, you know. I never did it, but I know.
Yeah, at least you know.
I know.
It kind of ties into that thing where you recognize an information that is relevant for you.
Yeah, that's why it reminded me of. So going back to the information thing, there's a lot of information. We get bombarded. I would say it's an oversaturation of information, because if you go on Twitter, you just have like 3 or more clips of Street Fighter 5, or even Sam Show. You have some clips, but you kind of have to know how to deal with it and know yourself, and maybe don't just copy people. Just try to get inspired of them.
Integrate the new
Integrate it
knowledge
into
in
your
your
playstyle.
playstyle, yeah, and
Yeah,
make it your own, right?
yeah.
That's what fighting is all about. So self-expression is very, very, very important in fighting games.
Yeah, because I hear a lot. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, Punk does that," or I don't know, Score does that. ET, or his even ET's Vanessa is really great, And then you say, "Okay, but do you know why he does this? Just implement it yourself." It's really hard, It's really hard because you have to know to recognize the situation. You have to know when to use what. I know for a punish it's okay, I would say, because it's not that difficult. But it's like in Sufura's case, just jump back, even though it's easy, because sometimes the easiest solution are the last thing on your mind. And
Shout outs.
yeah, but it's it can be something like as easy as jump back, but you just don't recognize it.
I see, I see. Yeah, I mean, it's dealing with information is also very important. Something that maybe, especially newcomers, don't actually see at first. They
I
see
think the
the,
easiest information is like asking a friend.
but then again, the friend has to know you well, right?
Yeah, but it's
It's
like
not
you
always easy for a friend to see where the problem
can
lies.
you can replicate the situation easier with a friend when you
Yeah,
have
it's
a
true. It's
training
true.
mode. Then you go on training mode and say, just do this move, and I see what I can do. It's what we did in Sam show in KOF.
It's true. It's true. Speaking of friends, I think we can move on to the last topic, which
You
is kind of the conclusion of this podcast, because we have been talking for almost 2 hours, so it's gonna be a long one again. I mean, we had the hiatus, so we have to step it up, right?
you got into big one.
Yeah,
Here's a big one.
Pastor Wolf, what? It's yeah, the fun aspect. I mean, we talk serious here about, yeah, setting some goals, dealing with losses, and be careful with the information you use.
It's kind of grim.
But it's kind of grim, right? And I don't want to paint fighting games like something grim, like something serious. So I want to talk about the fun aspect, because at the end of the day, it's all about the fun. So what I mean about that is just it may sound strange, but dealing with loss, seeing your improvement, getting it accepted in the community, having enjoying the games, enjoying the community, enjoying other games, spectating other games, playing other games. It's just the beauty of the fighting games, right? So I don't want an unhealthy mindset to ruin all the fun, you know, because those games are, in my opinion, one of the most entertaining games, or the most entertaining genre in gaming in general. And but they can be very how do you say,
Frustrating.
frustrating, can get toxic sometimes. So, and some people just don't see the beauty of this genre, right? So by having a healthy mindset, you get to enjoy the games a whole lot more.
Yeah, I think that no one should forget the fun aspect. So if you don't have fun dealing with losses, if you don't have fun going to the lab and learn, if you don't have fun improving, if you only feel satisfaction when you win, I don't think it's I would say it's good for you. Actually, I don't think it's good for you.
Fighting games don't have to be an obligation.
Yeah,
Like I
you can
have
also
to win, I have to get
you can
serious
also
because
play.
I'm
It's like my example with Soul Calibur. I know I'm not good at Soul Calibur, and I never will be because I don't put that much of time. Even though Voldo is my all-time favorite character of all time, you know, all-time favorite of all time. That's English, and you know, but I still have fun playing the game. I still have fun losing at UFA against the Yoshimitsu player who popped off afterwards. You know, it's all about the fun.
I mean, if you see fighting games like a journey of
Mm.
improvement, and with every journey there is failure, there is loss, there are highs and lows, right? So I mean, if you accept that, I can see that most people would enjoy fighting games a whole lot more.
Mm.
And I experienced that with myself. I mean, in the beginning with the Street Fighter 4 area, I was really also very very toxic, very salty, scrubby, and it wasn't fun anymore, right? And once I just accepted this, I just said, okay, it's my fault. I have to improve. It's not a big of a deal if I lose. I mean, I can be disappointed in the loss. I mean, that's just part of it. But I really don't want a loss to be the reason to drop this genre
Mm.
because they are part of the journey, right?
And also, there's a bigger aspect of it, you know, because the fighting games are not just the games themselves. I mean, we have proof of that because we started with Street Fighter 4 and we were like, I would say that online warriors, I would say,
Yeah,
only playing ranked. And then we discovered
wank.
the language FGC, and that's a lot better, you know. Now you have friends you can play with offline. We go to tournaments. Everyone gets bodied. Then afterwards we go to the hotel and drink our beer, you know. So
Yeah.
it's just having a great time. And even though I think there was like a Brussels challenge where every Luxembourger got like 2-0, I think.
Best Brussels challenge we ever been, I think.
Brussels challenge ever, you know. No, because we were still having fun. We saw
I
the
think Kravian didn't go 2-0 because his opponent was disqualified.
Yeah,
oh yeah, because no, his opponent was afraid of him.
yeah. That was
That's what
the
we were saying.
real stories behind the scenes. You only get this in videogames.lu podcast.
It was a fraud in Brussels challenge.
Yeah. Only the
No, but
truth.
now in all seriousness, it's like this is actually the aspect I like the most. I like organizing the gaming cafes to see my friends again, and also to set up the stream and to hear the commentators go ape shit, you know. And I think this sense of community is the greatest satisfaction for me. I still love my games, and it's also through those games that I get these other satisfactions, you know. And I think if you consider your friends that you make along the way, if you consider the new experiences that you discover, because I was never dreaming of going in a foreign country just to play a tournament in a video game and then making a lot of friends that even go from Japan to the United Arab Emirates. You know, when we talk about Wakashali, you know, and Zantetsu.
Yeah.
We have friends.
Shoutouts.
Yeah, we have friends from all over the world now. You know, and that's something that was only possible through fighting games.
I mean, regardless of how strong you are, the losses you accumulated. the community is gonna accept you either way. I mean, we are the best example. We are Luxembourg. We are nobodies, right? And we still get accepted everywhere we go. I mean, it's not important to win to be part of this wonderful community, right?
Mm.
So why focus on the winning thing? Focus on yourself. Focus on your improvement.
And focus
That's how I
on
see it.
having fun, because if you don't have fun, then why are you still playing?
Yeah, then go play other
You're
things.
playing to win more.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I don't know.
What you find fun in a fighting game can change over time as well, because
Of course.
I have become less salty as a person
That's not true.
as of late.
no,
What?
Lie.
It doesn't mean I don't get salty. It's just less salty.
Okay.
And
1%.
and I think a part of that is because I now see my fun comes now from talking to the other person in the fight.
Mm.
Because I see them react to the things I do, and then when I do something and the other person expects something and I don't do that, but it still reacts like baits or something, that's now my new satisfaction in the game. Like we're having a conversation, you were listening to me, but now I did not do the thing you were expecting.
You have a conversation with your fists.
Yeah, basically. So
The heart of battle.
now when I get salty is like when I cannot have that conversation, either because of execution errors, those make me mad still, or because I do not know the solution to a particular problem where I want to engage in that conversation, if you want to keep the metaphor, but I don't know the words to say what I want to say.
So you need to learn the vocabulary.
Yeah, I need to learn the solutions to the situations I want to beat. So that's the kind of stuff that makes fighting games fun for me right now. Whereas winning was kind of a big motivator before, because I am kind of a fast learner, and the coaches were impressed that I learned so fast. People were impressed that I learned so fast. So like, I felt validated through my wins. And when I hit my first wall, it hurt a lot. And now my fun comes from somewhere else. But I also think that fighting games is hard to get to that level where you can have fun with it. It's something other than wins. Because that's the first thing you see. And until you start seeing other aspects, you have to get quite good at it. Well, not really good, but at least intermediate level before you start seeing your fight with the other person as a conversation, kinda.
Yeah, there are many things in fighting games that are invisible at first.
Yeah, but I would say do the thing you find fun. If you don't feel like learning all the situations, be in training mode, whatever, you just want to mash DP, then hey, you're having fun. It's way easier than learning all the hidden stuff. If that's all you need to have fun, by all means do it. Have fun, man.
And no one will judge you for that.
But if your intent is to get better, to improve, then you have to go the hard route. And it will take a while before you find things in fighting games that are fun other than winning, I think, because there are so many things that it's hard to see as a beginner.
Yeah.
It's also very subjective also with the fun, so find the thing that you find fun and just stick with it, like Suf said.
It's true. So with that being said, I think we can wrap it up, right?
Maybe let us know what your most fun aspects are in the fighting game. So, and what are your goals? So if you have some questions,
Yeah, for the
either
listeners. Yeah.
questions or remarks that you want to say or tell the other peeps, just comment in the comment section below, and we will try to answer your questions or to engage in a discussion.
Get a discussion going. Yeah, of course. Of course. So, with that being said, my name is Alexei. The other two guys are.
My name is Rod.
I'm Supura boy.
And I think you can wrap it up. So, thanks for listening, and see you guys on the next videogames.lu podcast.